If I thought that money would win this race, I would not be running. If I thought being the established candidate would win this race, I would not be running. If I thought that gender or ethnicity would win this race, I would not be running. I'm running because my great-grandfather was a Republican, and this is the party of freedom. And we are about making sure that our young people learn the important principles of American democracy. The hard work, doing what you need to do, fighting for yourself and your family, your community, will cause you to go forward. Now, I know this because I'm a veteran educator. I started out as a classroom teacher at Jordan High School in Spartanburg County, principal of a school, superintendent. Now I serve on the Anderson County Board of Education. That when you hear folks say that we need a new evaluation system to evaluate teachers, I do not buy into that premise. Teachers are not the problem, the system is broke. And as I tell folk, oftentimes when I travel around the state, I'm not politically correct. Oftentimes I'm not grammatically correct, but I'm always right. always right. And you need to understand this. When folks say they need more money to build new buildings to help educate children, forget about it. Buildings and technology are not the same as teaching and learning. My first 4 years, I went to an all-black school. And in that school, we were told those teachers were substandard, and the curriculum was substandard, and of course, the building was substandard. We integrated the school system when I was in 5th grade, graduated from Chapman High School, my beloved Chapman High School, 8 years later. The little girl that was as poor as I was, sitting in the 1st grade classroom, graduated valedictorian. Folks, it was not affirmative action. It was not, you get a valedictorian, we get a valedictorian. She was the valedictorian. I got a scholarship to Walker. My parents worked like dogs. I did not buy the supposition that poor kids cannot learn. My parents worked like dogs. They did not have time to read to me. My dad had an 8th grade education, my mother a 12th grade education, my maternal grandmother that lived with us a 3rd grade education. I went to school reading. I did not go to kindergarten. We got our basics from that little school. And if you grew up during that era, something happened to you that happened to me. If you went to an all-white school, the teachers could control their classroom, they could discipline, and they could teach. Today, teachers cannot control their classroom, and therefore they cannot teach. And we're not willing to talk about that. We speak in all these glorious political correct terms rather than just telling it like it is. That our teachers are backing up, not doing the job because they're afraid they may be sued, because somebody may say to them, you don't like me because I'm black, you don't like me because I'm white, you don't like me because I'm fat, you don't like me because I'm skinny. No, you're not doing what I ask you to do, therefore I expect you to do what I ask you to do. How many of you in here did not go to kindergarten? Anybody did not go to kindergarten? I asked this question once before. How do your parents know you're ready to go to school? How do they know? What happened to you? You turned 6 years old. You walked next door to the good sense and average intelligence. Is that not correct? Now, if you're disadvantaged, I was disadvantaged. I didn't know it. Thank God no one told me I was disadvantaged. I didn't know I was black, and I didn't know I was poor. But I did not know. I did not know I was disadvantaged. I was black and male, but did not know I was poor. So when I went to school, they treated me like I had intelligence. Now when you are disadvantaged, you go to a 4-year-old program, correct? Or if you're really disadvantaged, you go to a 3-year-old program. And they call it, what they give you, I think, Kel, is a readiness test. It's really a not readiness test. Because if you're ready, your parents will take you home and put you in a private kindergarten program. If you're not ready, they tell your parents that you are ready, and they put you in a not ready curriculum, and they tell you, I will be ready by the time you exit 3rd grade, and by the time you exit 3rd grade, you're still not what? Ready. And most kids have been in school 6 years now by the time they leave 3rd grade. What grade was I in when I had been in school 6 years? 6th grade. 6th grade. So this kid is not ready. Then we blame the parent. We told the parent, you're too dumb, the teacher can't send it to us, and we'll get him ready. But then we tell the teachers, let the kids do what they want to do. Let the kids do what they want to do. Follow the kid's lead. Don't tell them to sit down. Let the kid do what the kid wants to do. But we need to either demand that children are reading or ready to read when they're in the 1st grade, or we need to completely defund kindergarten and preschool because it's simply glorified babysitting. And we don't need it. We simply don't need it. If that's not the purpose for kindergarten, is to have kids ready to read or reading by the time they enter first grade. You talk about the dropout rate, it's going up unless those kids can read by the time they leave third grade. You talk about the graduation rate, it's going down unless those kids are ready to read by the time they leave third grade. You talk about having kids' life ready, they're not going to be ready unless they can read. They have to be able to read. Kids do not drop out of school in 9th and 10th grade. Kids leave school in 9th and 10th grade. Kids drop out of school, guess where? In 3rd grade. Because they cannot read. They know that it's a challenge. They know that they cannot do what needs to be done. And then we have all these nice programs saying we'll get kids ready, and we don't get them ready. I submit this, that if you vote for a Washington connection, you're going to have Washington continuing to influence education in South Carolina. If we vote for folk in Columbia, the status quo, you're going to get the status quo. If we vote for lobbyists, you're going to hear a louder and louder sucking sound out of your wallets and out of your purses. You need a fresh, new voice, a generation changer. When I went to college, it opened up a lot of doors for other folk in my family. You need someone who will say it like it is and be a voice for the public and do what needs to be done. I'll leave you with this. Give me any teachers, the right number, anywhere, regardless of what school they graduated from, regardless of what the principal says about their evaluation. Send me to the worst school in the state. Let me not have federal intrusion, get rid of common core. Let me not have state intrusion. Let the district office mind their business, and we can turn that school around in 2 to 3 years. We can make it happen. I need your vote. I need for you to go to my website, burgessforsc.org, and volunteer, make a donation. If you want something different, then you have to vote for something different. We can continue to dance around and play around, or we can really make a difference for children in South Carolina. I believe that we can be the #1 teaching and learning environment in the world and in the United States of America. I believe that we can move education forward, and for everybody in public school, private school, religious school, wherever it may be, if we have the courage to vote for a person that wants to make a difference. I'm that person. I will say this as I move back toward my seat. I will not run from the fight. I will not shrink from the fight. I will move toward the fight with the target on my chest and not on my back. But I'm willing to work with anybody who wants to help taxpayers, make sure our teachers can control their classroom and teach, and say to all of the rest of America, look at South Carolina. I always tell my wife it's from a different part of the region of the country, American by birth, but Southern by the grace of God.